Well, good morning. Welcome to Integrative Preparedness. How are you all today? What do you do when people won't listen? You try to tell them the importance of preparing. You try to explain to them the different threats of the world, and they just shake it off. They won't listen, or they make fun of you, or whatever. That's what we'll talk about today. It's one of the questions that I get asked most frequently, probably. First, before we start off, a couple of things. I just put something very inspirational over on the Patreon channel for those of you who are over there. Make sure you watch that. It's about a guy who was 457 pounds, something like that. And his life was a mess, as you can imagine. And he fought with depression, deep depression, and of course he could barely function. And he finally came to the understanding that it was going to be up to him, and that he was killing himself, and that he was not living the life he should, that his family was suffering because of it, and he did something about it. It's a video from another channel, and I don't remember what the channel was. But anyway, I put it up over there, and there's a lesson in there that applies to what we're going to talk about today. If you're not with us on the Patreon channel, there's a link down below. I wish you would. There's so much. We put so much extra over there that would be not only interesting to you, but very helpful to you. The second is somebody asked, Triple G over on the Patreon channel mentioned, he said that something that I had said on I don't remember, one of the more recent videos. He said, you should put that over on the Stone Mock Church channel. He says, I really enjoy that channel. And first off, thank you, Triple G. I appreciate that. And then another person said, Stone Mock Church channel, what is that? What am I missing? And I realized I don't announce that channel here very much. I don't know that I've ever talked about it. I haven't put very much on that channel lately. I do have, if some of you know, I have home church. Maybe I should explain that a little bit before we get to the meat of the matter. And for those of you who don't think this is particularly interesting, well, it'll only take a minute. I became very disappointed with the state of the church in the last 20, 30 years. I've attended and quit most of the major denominations because I saw that they were straying from the true word. I do hold home church with our family and any friends that like to come by. And during the pandemic, I went ahead and started Stone Mock Church. Not the only reason for which, but I was able, through the church, as the pastor of the church, and right now, a lot of you are saying, you don't look much or talk much like a pastor. I take that as a compliment. That's one of the problems, what's happened with the clergy. It's kind of like, and I in no way mean to compare myself with Jesus, except on the opposite end of the spectrum. I'm a sinner and he's not. They kind of went after him for spending his time with sinners. And so sometimes I put things pretty straight, and I don't try to sugarcoat things, because right and wrong are right and wrong. And if being told that you're wrong offends you, and I don't mean you personally, if being told that they're wrong offends someone, that's tough. They need to be told they're wrong. Whether it's of a moral issue, certainly. And sometimes I'll do that on here, and people think that I'm a little harsh by getting on people. I try to do most of it gently, but people need to be told the truth if they really want to accomplish something in their life. So through the church, once I established the church, and like I say, it's a home church and it's an online church, and I have not put much up online for a while, but because of this, I believe I'm going to start. I was able to give people letters who were going to be required to take the poke, and I was able to give them letters to their employers to get them religious exemptions, and I was very happy and proud proud, that's a wrong word to use. I was happy to do it. And so through that, we were able to help a lot of people, and I'm glad of that. Anyway, all this comes down to, yes, we did. There is a Stonemont Church. There is a Stonemont Church channel. I always post that down in the information or the description box, and then in a pinned comment, I put the links of how you can get to our Patreon channel and where you can find my books, buy my books, and some of the other channels, American Reversion. I think I put Prepping to Prosperity for Prosperity and the Stonemont Church channel. So if that interests you, we'd love to have you over there. And as I say, because of Triple G spurring me on, thank you, Triple G, I will start putting stuff up over there again. I wasn't really sure that there was much of an interest, but apparently there is. So I think that's it for the lead up. That also may explain why I make these announcements. Very often people will come on and say, he didn't even start talking about the subject until 5 minutes in, and get to the point. And sometimes they're really rude, and I just delete them. I just don't let that. Hey, if you come into my house or my church and you're rude, I don't let that stay, because there's no reason for it. But maybe this is, I was going to say it's the teacher, but maybe it's the preacher enemy, that first I make the announcements and kind of lead up, and then we talk about today's lesson. So there you have it. So what do you do when people won't listen? And like I say, I think that's probably the most common question that I get from people, and sometimes I get very lengthy, and I'll get emails and I'll get messages over on Patreon explaining to me in detail about how people have tried to get their family, mainly, sometimes friends, but mainly family, because you love your family, you want them to be ready, and they try to explain to their family members the importance of preparing and the dangers of the world and the different things that are happening, and the people just won't listen, and it becomes very frustrating because when you're trying to get someone to understand something that is important for their own good, because you love them, you care about them, it can be frustrating. It can be more than frustrating. It can be angering. I mean, there have been arguments, family fights, family separations over things like this. And that's a shame. And the first thing that I want to say is don't let that happen. That should not happen. You should not have a problem. You should not cause a problem with a loved one over something they don't understand. Okay, so my advice: don't let that happen. When you come to them with this message of preparedness, the necessity for preparedness, it's much like, since I've already talked about the church, it's much like you wanting to share the gospel with them, because you love them and because you know it's important and because you've been called to do it. And people are resistant, right? Very much. People are resistant until what? We all know, right? Until they have hard times. You know that a person is much more receptive to the biblical message and to the message of Christ when they are going downhill fast or have hit the bottom, right? And then they find that there is nothing that they themselves can do through their positive thinking, through their whatever, to right this ship that has been sinking. Then they reach out. That's why so many conversions occur in prisons. And you know, there are some phony ones that the guys try to, you know, act like it because they want probation, you know, or parole. But there are a great many true conversions. And so many of those things happen at the very worst times of a person's life. Okay. And at that time, that's when they're most receptive to the message. Now, the thing is, that can kind of apply itself to preparedness in that that people don't listen when times are good, but how many preppers, shall we say, how many people became preppers to a great extent during the shortages, right? That's right. They did. All of a sudden, they couldn't get toilet paper. How many preppers were turned on to prepping, current preppers, because they couldn't get toilet paper? What a silly thing, right? What a stupid thing. Again, we can find biblical reflections in that. Sometimes the most unexpected thing will bring about a conversion. Well, this is kind of what we're talking about. When you approach someone, first off, don't let this upset you. If you're trying to help someone you love, or, you know, anybody, yes, I know you should love everyone. I know you people, because there will be some, you can't believe the things that some of the comments that I get, and I delete them just because I don't allow mess, okay? This is a positive channel. This is a channel where people should learn, not where they come and argue, not where they come out and one-up each other, not somewhere where they come in and try to find one little thing wrong and try to criticize it. And so I just don't allow that, because I treat this channel like I treat my home. You know, if you come in and you insult me, I'm sorry, you're going to have to leave. Because this is about education. It's about me sharing things with you and trying to provide something that will, you know, be of benefit to you. And by the way, that brings up too, people ask, can I share your videos? Yes, you can share all of my videos. Please do. That's the reason that I make them, for people to see them. So what was my point? I got off point there. But anyway, these situations that present themselves to you to be able to share what you want to share with other people come in many guises, okay? And I probably didn't pick up where I left off because I went down the rabbit trail there. First off, don't allow it to make you mad. I already said that. Don't allow it to upset you. You should be coming at this in a spirit of love and helpfulness and concern for others, okay? So if they're not quite ready to hear the message, don't get mad at them. And do come at them gently. Come at them with a very even, a very rational approach. Show them, much like your evangelism in your the religious aspect of your life, if you have one. People are attracted to you as a result of what they see in you, not what you tell them. Right? So if people who see that you are have a happy life, if you have a good family, if you seem to always, if you're not one of these people who are always angry and anxious, but you're at peace with yourself and you're at peace with life and how you treat other people and how you help other people, they are attracted to that, and they will come toward you. They're not going to. This is why so many, and I call them repulsive Christians, the ones who try to beat people over the head with "you need to" or "you're going to hell." You know, that doesn't draw anybody. I mean, except through fear, and that's not the way you want to do it. So you want to, Jesus said, be fishers of men, not hunters of men. Lure them, make it look appetizing. I know they fished with nets. So, but anyway, he didn't say be a hunter of men, to go out there and track them down and shoot them and make them. So by your own actions and by your own life and by your own peace of mind, for instance, during that shortage that we had a couple of years ago, I was able to share the preparedness message with a great many people, because they couldn't find things, whether it was toilet paper or beans or whatever it was, and I would explain, these were problems. This is why we prepare, and that would start the conversation. And then that gives you you can jump off into the fragility of the supply lines and how we are dependent so much on people who are really our political and perhaps military enemies, how we rely so much on China and other things, and you will start to get people interested. Okay, but that's the way to do it. You have to do it gently. If they're not ready to hear the message, there's nothing you can do to force that message into their understanding. So don't let it make you aggravated. Don't let it create a division between you and anyone else. Simply put the information out there. And there are a couple of, since I've outed myself here, there are a couple of biblical messages that pertain to that exactly. First off, throwing pearls before swine, that simply means sharing. Well, it was specific when Christ said it, but if you take it beyond that, it's sharing things with people who are not yet able to understand or who won't appreciate the value of what you're sharing. Another is, hang on half a second, I have to say something to my neighbor. Okay, did I do that right? I have to put my glasses on to see whether I hit that little button. Yes, I did. Okay, another is the parable of the sower. And if you're not familiar with that, I won't go into a sermon here, but read it in the Bible. Wiki it. If you don't have a Bible at hand, look it up on Wiki, the parable of the sower. Not all information grabs hold. But also, while it may be your calling to be the sower, it may not be your calling to be the reaper. And these things happen in their own times. Good. Okay, he wanted to yell something else at me. What a nice morning. I love, people say, I've heard people say, in the suburbs you don't know your neighbors. I know all my neighbors, and all but one is nice. So anyway, it may be up to you to sow the seeds, but then you let those seeds, you see whether they're going to take, right? And you don't pound that seed into the ground because you don't immediately see a sprouting plant. Okay, so be patient and be gentle and be concerned. I'll tell you a story about, and it has to do with this guy over the one that I said I put on the Patreon channel sometime back. Now I've always stayed in pretty good shape. I have not let myself get too bad. I've let myself go a couple times in my life because of lifestyle and all that, but I never let myself really go. And like most people, I'll go through phases where I get in really good shape, and then I get busy, and and get out of shape and get back in shape. But my wife Kelly came upon a guy, and she was looking into first keto when everybody was on keto, and then into carnivore, and the carnivore diet. And she started trying to explain it to me, and I was very hard-headed. I was very resistant to that because everything she was telling me was in direct opposition to everything that I had been taught and everything that I knew or thought I knew. And so, I would argue with her. She would send me videos from this guy, Ken Berry. If you're interested in that, Ken Berry has a great... he has a great YouTube channel I'd watch it and I said, that guy's an idiot. That guy, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Somebody right now will say, that's not very pastor-like of you to call somebody an idiot. I know. Jesus says, do not call someone a fool, raka. Jesus also knows I'm a sinner, as are you. And I'd watch it. I said, well, that doesn't make any sense. And she would just keep pounding me and pounding me and pounding me, or not pounding me. She cared about me. She wanted me, to have the information, right? Like you want people to have the information about preparing, because she cared about me. But I would watch that, and I said, well, no. That doesn't line up with anything that I know. And you all know, I owned a gym for a long time. I have trained people in physical disciplines for 40 years, and I knew a lot of things, and a lot of them worked. I won't go into detail with that now, but so much of what he was saying just wasn't right. And then I would hear people talk about, and I'd hear him say, it'll cure this and it'll cure this. And we're talking about the carnivore diet. It'll cure this, it'll cure that, it'll cure everything in the world. And then I said, well, that's just stupid. No. And there were some other doctors. Now, he's an MD. He's down in Tennessee. And there were some other doctors that then I started seeing that they were also saying this. Now, I don't put a lot of stock in doctors, because the only thing that most doctors know less about than diet is exercise. Even though people will always say, check with your doctor, they don't know, 99% don't know much about it at all. They know pills, and they know. So anyway, she was after me for a long time. And I was real resistant. I refused, and her brother was into it, and I still refused. And just little by little, something happened. I don't even remember what it was. Something made me watch one of his things again. And all of a sudden, and I can't tell you what this was. All of a sudden, a light went on. And I said, it doesn't make sense according to everything I know, or think I know. I'm going to give it a shot. Now, I'm 69 years old. I've been beat up more than you can imagine. All my years on the street and martial arts and all. I'm like the Rice Krispies when I get up in the morning. I snap, crackle, and pop my way across the room, until I get loosened up, and I have to hold on to the handrail to come down my steps sometimes. And I lived in pain for years and years and years, and just accepted it. Hey, gut up, man. It's just pain. Keep on keeping on. And I have, most of my other friends, they're all beat up, and so it seemed normal to me, and they're always in constant pain. Yes, that's the life we lived. So I said, I'm going to try it. So one day I ate only meat and eggs, I think. I don't know, meat. And you know something? The next day I got up, I wasn't groggy. I didn't have that same bleh feeling that I usually do when I get up. And I get up fairly early. Even if I feel I get up early. I realized that when I came down, and I came down the stairs, I was just walking down the stairs. I wasn't holding on to the railing. I couldn't believe it. And then I realized I didn't need something to eat right away like I always had. I always come down and see if there's extra pizza left over from the night before, or, make some biscuits or something like that, grab some cookies with my coffee. I didn't feel like I didn't need anything. And I felt energetic. And all of a sudden I went to like noon. And by then I'm usually grazing. And because, I'm working, I graze, and I sit at my desk and I write my books and, make the videos and things. And I'm drinking my coffee and snacking on things. Because I think I need to give myself energy, right? No, it's just my mouth wants it, I guess. But anyway, I found it's noon. I don't even need anything to eat. And then it's 2 o'clock. I don't even need anything to eat. You better have something to eat. So I did. And I think I cooked up a pound of hamburger. And I ate it. And I said, this is wacky. You know what? That night I slept even better. Within 2 days, I had energy that was off the charts. Off the charts. Now, do I stay on carnivore all the time now? No, I don't. I'll be honest. I mean, we went out to our favorite pizza place the other night, and for Kelly's, we did something the other day. We went to Cheesecake Factory, and the other night we went to our favorite burger place. So I don't do this. But the thing is, that's kind of like, when somebody finally gets the thing to understand about the importance of preparing, they might not go out full hog and dedicate themselves to complete preparing. But, maybe that's not what you're after. Maybe they just start to say, you know what, that's not a bad idea. I think I will start getting in, a few extra cans of food and some extra paper supplies and whatever. I'm not going to get into specifics of everything they should do, but, maybe they start to do it. I have been surprised how many people who I didn't think listened to me at all, I mean, in my personal life, actually did, and only much later tell me that they did start stocking supplies and food and things like that. They're not necessarily going to come to you and say, hey, guess what? I started prepping. Probably not, because they're going to be resistant, just like I was so resistant with Kelly about carnivore. And, I didn't immediately say, hey, look, I'm going to do this. I tried it, and I found that it worked, and I found that, and they will too. Anyway, my whole point on this is, don't let it upset you. Don't let it cause a problem between you and other people, whether it's your family member or a friend or whatever. It shouldn't cause a problem. After all, you're doing it out of concern. You're doing it out of love. Don't let something that you're doing out of love, turn into a fight or an argument or a separation between the two of you. What good does that do? Just give the information out there. Do it in a positive way. If you can afford it, prep extra. Saying if they're not going to do it for themselves, I don't want them to starve to death. I'm going to try to prep extra if I can afford it. And so that when it all comes down, instead of saying, see, I told you so, well, you still might say that, but at least you'll give them something to eat while you're saying that, because you love them. You want them to survive and stay with you. And even if they experience something like, say, a job loss, okay, wouldn't it be good for you to be able to give them some stuff, to help them along, to help them through? And, that might be the hook that finally, down the road, they say, you know what, prepping really is a responsibility that I have been shirking. And here my brother, sister, friend, cousin, uncle, whatever, because he followed a responsible preparedness lifestyle, he came and helped me. So that's what I would suggest. Don't let it upset you. Do it lovingly. Do it in a positive way, and just throw your seeds. Some of them are going to take. Some of them aren't going to take. Nothing you can do about that. But it's up to you to sow the seed. Okay, and kind of in that frame, the seed that I sowed so much is when I wrote my books. And that has been such a blessing to me. People tell me that the books have been blessings to them. I'm glad of that. That's why I wrote them. But it's been a blessing to me to know that I've been able to help, and that's the Stonemont series. I'll put the commercial on the end here today. My series of books talking about how to prepare for and how to survive and how to rebuild and how to keep the community together during a complete collapse. It's a series of 6 novels in a serial form. It's all the same story. The Reversion, the Revival, the Renewal, and Appeal to Heaven, the Blessings of Freedom, and Hostages to Fortune, the latest one. They're available either on Amazon in paperback or Kindle. The link is down below in the info section and a pinned comment. Or you can get them directly from me through our website, stonemont.us. stonemont.us, and there you can get them straight from me. You can order them, and there's a place for you to say if you'd like me to sign it for you, and I love to do that. People have told, one person even asked me, would you write in the recipe for your chili that you put? That takes a long time to write that. So, you know, I like to stay, you know, best wishes or you know, to Uncle Bob or you know, whatever it is. But I love doing it. And if you all would like that, just order through the stonemont.us website. So that's the thing. The more people who are prepared out there, the better it is for all of us. And the more people that you love that are prepared in your life, the better it's going to be, not just for you, but for them. Do go over and watch that thing. And if you're not with us on Patreon, again, a gentle invitation. We put a lot of stuff on Patreon that I don't put here. It's only $1 a month. And I think you'll agree that you get more than your money's worth. And join us on Stonemont Church if you would like. That is also down there. And I give this. Here's a seed that Triple G planted. He told me that he got more out of it than he thought that I realized. And it kind of made me think, okay, I am sorry. I haven't put much up over there for a while. And I will again. So Triple G, on behalf of myself and anybody else who would like to watch this stuff, thank you. And it's the way that we plant the seeds, right? It really is. So anyway, that's it for today. I'm going to get out and cut some trees and water the gardens and have a great day and write something on the new book. You all have a good day. Plant those seeds, but don't let it upset you if you don't see an immediate sprout. You don't know what's going to happen down the line. Share out of love. Share what you know you should. And remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.